All right. So I always forget how cold these opens are on MSP these days, especially since my show still has theme songs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so welcome to another episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents. I'm your guest host, Adam, which means something has happened to Mac. We don't know the full details, but things are a bit concerning because we got a message like literally before showtime that apparently Mac is currently in his apartment in the dark, unable to sit upright. I'm assuming massive amounts of back pain,
Possibly.
Or
but
possibly headache.
possibly legs, possibly feet. I'm not sure why he's unable to sit upright, but there's no part of the body where this isn't concerning, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all we know right in the here and now is that whatever Mac is going through right now, it's enough for him to have him in the laying position. Like, he literally cannot sit up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
which
I'm
also
sure
means,
we'll learn what's up before next stream.
yeah, hopefully, is once again, this also, this is the kind of thing that precludes a trip to the hospital. Like,
Possibly. He could just be
like I said,
exhausted from
yeah.
Uber and stuff like that.
Once again, that is also possible. We did not get details. We just got that message.
Right.
So, that means I have to fill in the full host duties tonight, as well as the introductions. So, joining us is the usual panel. Kevin's here.
Yeah, I'm here. Distracted, but here.
Petty,
Would I be an oak panel or a walnut panel?
Mahogany, and the Golics.
That would be me.
Yes, it would. Anyway, so now it's time to shuffle off to the news. Kevin, you start us off.
Well, as usual, I really don't have much except, weekends at the AMC, which hopefully will now start to get a little bit more calmer and quieter as the summer's wrapping up. So,
Mm-hmm.
bit of a quiet period until, of course, the holidays. You know how those work, so, yeah, that's what's going. That's pretty much everything that's happened with me. So, Petty, what's happening in your world?
Well, Mom has another round of a job interview tomorrow, so hopefully that works out, because, dealing with her is a pain. There's something up with the pool for some reason. We think there might be a stick with, like, leaves or something lodged in the line that comes from the skimmer to the inlet of the pump, and it's causing that line to basically collapse in on itself. So we are going to have the pool installer do a service call, and that's going to be $80. So that's fun. I was able to sell that Digimon card that I got a couple weeks ago. Got $150 cash out of it, and basically the core for a couple decks I was looking to build. So, hooray! I would have liked to have kept it, but at the same time, life. I'm sure all of us would love to keep the shiny cardboard we get, but you know. And yeah, other than that, Not really a whole lot like for the MSP side of stuff. Just mostly been playing video games and whatnot and card games. So next victim, that would be Digolix. Unless he muted himself.
I did, but I was just anyway. Not too much going on here. I'm still in decent condition with my parents away.
Would you consider yourself near mint or light played?
It depends. Probably at least lightly played, but we'll see. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 3, trying to finish my catalog before the end of the season, which is at the end of the month. I will probably be doing that shortly, although I am not doing it at the moment. For work today, we had a work party because one of my coworkers in our office is getting married soon, or having their actual wedding soon. At least I think they're already legally married. So we got to take a boat out to one of the islands in Casco Bay, and go to a restaurant and then take a boat back, and that was nice. And luckily, I was able to get all of my important work stuff for the first half of the week done before doing that, so I didn't have to worry about doing it later. And also, I am once again taking a long weekend, as I often do when my parents are away. That's all.
Okay. I guess it's my go. Hang on. Did Mac post another message? Nope. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Anyway, let's see. Not much going on this week, which is at once a nice change of pace and also a bit concerning, mainly because my brother is looking for a vehicle to replace the one that got waterlogged not too long ago. And let's just say efforts have been frustrating in that regard. And let's see, I have a doctor's appointment next week. Hopefully, with things cooling down a bit, I won't have to reschedule that. Especially since I'm due to get some meds refilled. As far as I know, routine checkup, don't even have to do labs. I did that just 3 months ago, and nothing really warranted another set of labs this soon. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Hopefully, Mac will be better next week. So, with that in mind, let us introduce our guest for this week, Mike Merriweather Jr. of Treal Toonz.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for being with us this week. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay today. It's hot here as it always is. But it's you do the best you can.
Relatable. Anyway, so I suppose we should start by giving our audience an overview. What is Treal Toonz?
All right, so Treal Toonz is a animation studio, basically that Jason, who hates doing a lot of the public stuff, he created himself. He started drawing back in 2010 and started doing animation, self-taught animated, by the way, back in, I want to say 2014. Jason and I kind of connected over the internet I saw one of his paintings one day, and grabbed his painting. Just like the first time I saw it, I was like, "Hey, I want that painting. How much is it? What do I need to do to get it sent to me?" Um, and from there, I mean, we've actually had a pretty good friendship. Just connecting with each other, staying in touch with those moments as much as you can over online. But as he continued to grow, I anytime he asks for some money for supporters or whatever, I might buy a piece of art from him or shoot him some cash. And when he got nominated for a lot of the animation he did for the Image Awards, he actually wanted me to go to LA for the NAACP Image Award nomination this was 2020, 2021, I believe. All those COVID years, they kind of get mashed together. But
Mm-hmm.
he told me he wanted me to go out there because he hated doing the public stuff. And ever since then, he's put me as an executive producer on a lot of the short films that he's done, and a lot of the even the shorts that he had streaming on Quelle TV for a while. Now most of the stuff that we do, it's all on YouTube. So it's Treal Toonz is basically his baby that he's birthed in order to tell the stories that he wanted to tell. So it's been a fun ride. As I keep telling him, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Indeed. Suppose there's a lot of questions we can answer. I suppose first is, did Treal Toonz end up winning any Image Awards?
No, so we haven't won any, but we have been nominated twice. So the first year we got nominated, we went against, I think it was 3 Netflix shows, and I think one of them was the one done by the Obamas. So a uphill online battle to get people to vote for us compared to Barack and Michelle produced animation. But this year, we felt the category was stacked with more independent films, and we didn't come away with the win this year. But Jason, all the work that he's done, he submitted Treal Toonz the shorts to a lot of film festivals, and he's won a ton of awards, not just for the animation that he's done, but also his directing. So even that same weekend this year, I think he got a director award for one of the shorts that he completed. So if you do follow the page, like I can barely keep up with it, and I'm you know, so closely, attached to it. But every time I turn around, we're being shown at a film festival. I think right now, I think the latest one is the Miami Underground Film Festival. So those, I think, above the nominations and the awards, just being able to have our shorts and our films being shared and being posted on big screens, that right there is, those are like the rewarding moments that we really enjoy.
I'm like, I can imagine, especially given, how do I put this? Your relatively small size.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, you think about it. To be nominated, in a category with, Netflix featured films where those studios have, you know, probably tens to hundreds of people working on those, films, and basically it's Jason and his tablet. That speaks a lot to the stories that he's able to tell, the stories that he brings to life, and his animation style. This is the one thing that I've often told him. His ability to tell stories through the way he uses colors, I think, is second to none, because you know all of us can attribute to what we see, whether it's video games or TV. anime or whatever. But when you get a particular artist and they have a style that just draws you into it, sometimes the panel itself can tell the story.
Hmm. And from what I gather, your tunes have had quite the proliferation, like appearing on AMC theater screens.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. He's been able to. Well, I can't put it all. He reminds me a lot of times. I help out a lot as well, but um, we push to make sure that we can get these out as much as possible to as many people as possible. So outside of just doing the YouTubes and sharing it, the clips on Twitter. I think it was last year he was able to get an actual screening at an AMC field in Palm Beach.
hmm,
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah. I give that all that credit to him because he does have. He lives in Palm Beach, but he's able to talk when he has to. He's able to talk to the right people and get them to believe in the work that we've created.
Indeed. I suppose it's also worth asking how many people are involved with the Treal Toonz project overall.
Overall, I want to say it's uh. So when it comes to like animation, directing, that part of it, it's mainly just Jason. But the rest of us, there's myself. There's another co-founder, and we finally got a publicist. Both of those who attended um, the MG Awards with myself this year out in LA. I mean, to be honest, the brain works of it is just Jason, but the rest of us who kind of support and hold him up and push him, when he's down, when things aren't going the best. Or maybe, I think we all, have those bad days when, you're creating something and you're not sure if everyone is actually understanding what you're creating. There's about 3 or 4 of us that push him to keep going forward with what he's doing.
Hmm. Is it hard sometimes?
I'd say, for me, I'm in the background, so I can't say necessarily it's hard for me, but I know for him, as he's animating sometimes, he'll tweet out something about, maybe something's broken. Um, what maybe the tablet he was working with is broken. I know last year he had an issue where the desk he was using wasn't, just the best quality. And luckily enough, few of us donated, but I know one guy actually just went on and purchased the desk that he needed. So I know, like Jason, what he does is artist. Like he's an artist. No day job or whatever. So
Hmm.
he's making a living off of the animation that he's done. He does do illustrations. He's actually illustrated 3 children's books that I authored. Oh my goodness! Again, that was COVID time, so all that kinds of run. I think in 2020 and 2021, he did 3 books for me, and he's done several award-winning books since then. He still paints from time to time. I know he goes in and out of the passion to paint, but lately he's found, I think, a fire to do more paintings. And again, that's what drew me to him, and that's one of the things that I do love seeing him paint, just because even in those moments, I feel like he sometimes it's just, again, the way he uses the colors, the things that he's painting, and the way he's able to like capture that is second to none. But the illustrations and the shorts that he's doing now and the stories that he's telling, sometimes my youngest daughter, I've shared them with her teachers to play at their in their class during Black History Month or something like that. But he does a really good job of telling stories, and getting people behind it. I think last year or the year before, Hulu had got with them to do a series of posters for a lot of their movies. And so that was a fun like campaign that we got a chance to participate with.
Like branching out in all sorts of directions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fun. I mean, you never know what catches fire. I think he's done some animations of um, some videos or some songs as well. And every now and then, one of those, will go viral for a while. I think one of the main ones was a Nas song that he did, and that he had to tap me. He had to reach out to me. He's like, man, I didn't know this one do numbers like this. But those are like the fun times when you just he's just creating something, and then everyone else kind of catches on to it like it does.
Indeed. Um, and I suppose it's worth noting, like, the subject matter of Treal Toonz. In case our listeners haven't caught on yet, it has a specific focus towards the Black experience, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. I know Jason, a lot of times, being a Haitian born artist, he does do a great job of telling Haitian stories that haven't been told, in the past before. But he also does tell stories from the Black experience. But a lot of his more recent stories and shorts that he's created, they're stories that we all can relate to. Whether it's a Christmas story that he's coming up with an idea of, okay, well, what did Santa Claus, how did Santa Claus have an experience at this house with these three kids? Everybody can kind of relate to that excitement of, when they still believed in Santa Claus and wanted to see, okay, well, what happens when he comes down the chimney and stuff. So, I think he does a great job of kind of capturing something that we can all relate to, but just telling it through, his eyes as a Haitian born,
Mm.
person.
And that is a thing to note. It's why certain terminology has fallen out of favor recently in terms of describing the Black experience. Because not everyone is from, let's say, America.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When you can't just say Black and just just have it as that, one person, as I think we all kind of have seen be taken differently over the past, I guess, month or so. That experience, it differs depending on where you're from, where your family's from. I have a large group of friends from the Caribbean
Mhm.
islands, and each island has that, as you see at the Olympics, each island has their own flair, their own flavor. And
Yep.
so what Jason is able to do, and not just the Haitian born aspect, him being from Florida,
Mhm.
you're growing up in Florida, and the things that he's experienced in Florida, um, and he does a great job too of just, again, telling stories in a unique way that you probably wouldn't think. That the way he did my daughter's children book, it's a
Mhm.
book about learning sight words, and the way he was just able to bring that to life with just having the words just be so bold and loud, and oftentimes the words that she was learning bigger than the rest of the characters on the page. His thought process of having her lean against one of the harder letters or something like that, those are things that I think he does a great job in the way his mind is able to capture that and bring that to life on the page.
Mm. Well, that's good to hear. In regards to the children's books, are they like available on Amazon or for
Yeah,
wide distribution?
yeah, yeah. Most of the books that he's done if you look up Jason or Treal Toonz as on Amazon, you can probably capture that. I know a lot of what I typically try to do is put Treal Toonz as the illustrator, and it's easier to find. He does a great job of sharing any book that he's illustrated uh, on his Twitter or X. I still have a hard time calling it X. I think
Everyone
all of
just calls it Twitter. Like
it.
even when they're calling it X, they have to say X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So yeah, but he does a great job of sharing those on Twitter or his IG page. I mean, nowadays that's the way we all communicate. So, but yeah, that I think the latest one he did, I can try to go find it real quickly. But
that's fine.
yeah, it's I think it was a story of a young Puerto Rican kid, and so like I said, it's hard to keep up with a lot of stuff, and I know I look forward to one of the things he's had us do lately is not just the illustrations. He's had me do some voice acting, so I'm trying to get used to. I call myself a voice actor nowadays. He said I need to get an IMBD now, I guess so to join the club.
I'm like, I guess that helps. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm like, but how have you found voice acting so far?
It's been challenging. I mean, when the idea is to bring the character life in the best way possible, and in voice acting, it's not what we all see on TV, where you're able to use your facial expressions and trying to make sure that I'm using the right inflection on certain words, or maybe he has, like, the first time he did it, he wanted me to be a robot, so it's you know recording myself several times and trying to make sure it's an automated sounding voice. Yes, I think he used you know some technology to make it reverb and stuff like that. But it's been fun. It's a challenge, but it's been fun.
Hmm. Well, it's I suppose that's good. Um, you know, and in terms of animated projects, what's been released recently, and what would you say is coming up soon?
The latest one that has been released is Mona Lisa.
Hmm.
Um, it's a uh, it's pretty much a story of a young man that gets caught up, and he goes out one night and he's looking around at everything that isn't in front of him. I guess you can say the guy actually goes to a strip club and gets caught off guard and gets jacked. And so I think the moral of that story, I believe, is just to be aware of your surroundings, and don't get caught up in the fast life and the glitter and the glam, and just always stay aware. You can have everything that you want, but if you're not focused on the present, you can get caught up in that fast life pretty quickly. So that's the last one we did. I'm not sure of the next one to come. I know he did have me do some voice recordings for it, and he's kind of tight-lipped. He might be more tight-lipped than the MCU when it comes to what he's releasing. So I don't want to get put on the chopping block like Mark Ruffalo slipping up on Endgame. So
Well, in fairness, the MCU is less tight-lipped and more rewritten, given recent events.
I mean, they're a bit of both.
Well, I mean, they just had to discard the whole Kang storyline.
yeah, that's been a mess, right? That
Yes, it has. Like,
I guess
thankfully,
you can put Blade on that list too, right? Like that you keep getting messages about Blade coming out, and then it's this person has left the casting and that person has left. So
I mean, it's concerning to say the least.
yeah,
Like, but on the other hand, Wesley Snipes is kind of back as Blade.
right. We got the good joke in Deadpool and Wolverine.
So I guess we'll see what happens there. Like,
Yeah,
anyway, so I think a bit ago you mentioned about changes to the distribution model. Like, your short films were on a streaming service, but now they've migrated to YouTube. Has that been a difficult journey, given all that can be said about the algorithm and such?
yeah, yeah. It's funny, we talk about that now. Is I think so. Jason had, I want to say, about 300 videos on a channel just go missing, and then he got a message that YouTube banned his site, and we're trying to figure out why. um, and so that page, I think, disappeared for about a year. And so he had to pretty much build everything back up on the Exhibit Treal production site, or the Exhibit Treal studio site, on YouTube. And so you're basically posting all the same videos and trying to figure out, what the algorithm is to get them shared and to get them, the looks that they're supposed to get. And if you go down the list, it's kind of funny. You see one with 19, and you see one with 58, and then this one has 3,000, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what did we do different on this one? And you can never really tell, right? So I think that's one of the things Jason and I have kind of talked about, is figuring out, do we just at this point try to hire somebody that knows the game and can figure out the algorithm for us, and we can stop bumping our heads up against the wall when we're posting? Because the content obviously is great if it's getting nominated for these large awards, but it's, how do you make sure that people are viewing the things that you're creating?
I mean, that seems to be the eternal question on that platform. And the answer, either seems to be you have to do videos a certain way, and you have to do thumbnails a certain way, because the algorithm likes that stuff, and how creatively limiting that can be.
Yeah.
Like, and as far as stuff getting banned, once again, that's a bit of a black box, because I mean, Rift Tracks just got hit with that a couple days ago, and they don't know what happened there. And it's like, if a player like that can be hit with the copyright strikes and such, yeah, it's no wonder smaller outfits, are subject to such whims as well.
Yeah. Yep. It's a tough go. And I think it's one of those things that, as content creators, as us who have a voice and we try to share things, it feels like you're always going up against the machine. And there's no winning to it at times. But I mean, you keep doing what you can for those that continue to support you. Obviously, we all have some type of community that are looking for our voice, and so those are the reasons we continue to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as you can, you're still able to, create the content that you want to create in the fashion that you're doing, I suppose that's what's really important.
Yeah. Yep. That's all we can do. I think one of the things Jason has kind of gotten excited about now is It is, the film festival time. And that's when you're able to get those looks of people saying, okay, well, you've created this and we want to show it. Afrotech, we did a screening last year at Afrotech, which was fun. I have family that's in Buffalo, and they got a chance to view one of the shorts on the big screen last year. So that was fun as well. Like just being able to call my dad and sending them some tickets to go take a look at that. So, um, it's tough, but you like you said, you keep pushing through.
Yeah, and I suppose that does beg another question. Do you often hear feedback from like the people who watch your videos and such? Like do they respond to how these things have influenced their lives and such?
I don't. I do see some of it online, which is which is great. Sometimes when you do something, I can't remember if he did a Sam Cooke one, a short, and I think the family actually reached out and mentioned how thankful they were. So especially when you're doing these greats and telling their stories in such a short form. I, I think Bernie Mac, his family reached out after he had passed, and I know we did a short for Bernie Mac. So those moments when you do have people that say, I enjoy what you did for my relative. Those are the times that you kind of you appreciate that feedback, and every now and then you do get the trolls. But we quickly dismiss those and figure out, okay, well, this is obviously a bot,
Right.
and just and just go on about our business.
It's for the best there.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Anyway, so I think that concludes my line of questions. I'll see if my colleagues here have anything further for you.
I think I'm good.
Yes, I think everything I was thinking
good.
of was asked.
I'm good.
All right. All right. So, Mike, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and talking Treal Toonz with us. It's been a most informative discussion.
No problem.
And
No problem.
indeed. And hopefully, I don't know, this year, next year, whenever you're next up for the Image Award, you win.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. We're looking forward to it.
Yep. Anyway, so it's Treal Toonz. You can go watch them on YouTube.
Yep.
And I would highly recommend doing that. So, yeah, I keep, this is the problem when we don't have transition music. It's harder to transition to the next segment.
One of these days, I'm going to
But
buy
anyway.
a flute out of spite.
A recorder.
Thanks,
Anyway.
everybody.
No problem. No problem.
You have yourself a good night, sir.
All right.
Anyway, so usually this is the entertainment section of the broadcast, but given what's going on this week, it's probably best to migrate over to politics.
Yep. Especially as it's the reason that I've been distracted until just now.
Indeed. I suppose the two are intersecting here, given what happened like just yesterday at the DNC.
And kind of tonight.
Yeah. It's also important to remember that Democrats in general have a better entertainment hookup than Republicans.
That is no more clear than it is this year.
Yes. I mean, Republicans, they had what? Hulk Hogan? And
yes, they had Terry from Clearwater and Richard from Romeo, aka Kid Rock. We have
Well-
Stevie Wonder and Oprah Winfrey. Case freaking closed.
And Little John, apparently.
Lil Jon, that's right. King of Krunk from here in the ATL, that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's good that
Case closed.
like, it's good that he got over being a literal punchline from the Chappelle Show.
So,
But that was
yeah,
quite a while.
that was quite a while ago. He is a freaking legend down here. He is a legend down here, I'll tell you.
Mm. I mean, so much so that he was the viral highlight of yesterday.
Yes, yep. I have to tell you, it was hard for me not to scream in laughter. Because, yeah. We Georgians came to play. That's for sure.
I mean, the entire Democratic National Committee seems to have come out to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going hard in the paint right here. That's right.
Well, it's like the literal platform is joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
As opposed to fear, misery,
hate,
negativity.
grievance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not just talking about what Republicans want.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the mood until recently.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I know the Bidenites wanted him to carry on to the last, but
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to deny that Kamala has brought a new dynamic to the proceedings. Like, people have been comparing it to 2008. I'm like,
yeah,
I can definitely see the parallels.
As someone who was very much loud and wanting Joe Biden not to drop out, it's pretty clear what's happened, right? It's pretty clear here. Now, again, we must make very clear that there were some in the party, even as they were wanting Joe Biden out, that they did not want this. They were very much not. They were very much hesitant. They were very much wanting an open free-for-all fest, right?
So,
but it's pretty clear because for me, it was very simple. For me, it was very simple. It was either Joe or Kamala, and there was nothing else that I would have accepted. If Joe was out, Kamala had to be in because of this. Because of this right here.
Yeah, here's the thing. That was pretty much always going to happen. I know there's a contingent that also included the likes of Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, et al. But here's the thing. They didn't have anyone in mind. They literally had no one in mind.
Right, exactly. And that's why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't happen, because they did not have anybody to put up.
Yeah. So things just naturally fell to Kamala Harris.
Well, it's actually more specifically the fact that Joe Biden said, okay, I'll get out, but I'm not just going to simply get out and get gone.
Well, yeah.
I know how this is going to work, and I know how this can work, and it's going to be with Kamala because it can't be with anybody else.
Well, here's the dirty little secret that wasn't exactly a secret. Kamala Harris was always the succession plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the administration from the beginning was called the Biden-Harris
administration. Yes.
Like, honestly, I don't think many people probably thought that Joe was going to serve an entire 4-year term more.
Well, he was gunning for it.
Yeah.
But he's also very, very old.
No, but that's not what I'm getting at. It's that when Biden was done, he was always going to have Harris be his heir apparent.
Right.
That still happened just 4 years ahead of schedule. And since
2.
No, 4.
I'm talking about him potentially dying in office or having to having
not.
to secede for health reasons.
I'm not. Obviously, yeah, that was a concern. But if he was alive in 4 years, he would have passed the torch to Harris.
Not secede, the other one.
Like, you're getting caught in the logistical minutia of things. Like, I'm saying what the general plan was. Kamala Harris was always going to be the one he passed the torch to. That still happened, but ahead of schedule.
Right. It really was going to be a case. I mean, I was going into everything thinking that she was going to go 2028. Right. Everybody was. It was just a case of, okay, what's the primary going to look like? Who else is going to run against her? Because it wasn't just going to be simply her in that primary in 2028. If it was 2028, it was going to be a crowded, packed primary. But because of the timing and everything else, it's a case of
that's
everybody knew.
This was literally unprecedented. Like, no president has ever stepped away this late in the nomination process. People like to go back to 1968. But here's the thing.
That was in what? March? May? Yeah. I think it was in May.
Yeah, it was a lot earlier in terms of when the convention was happening.
It was still during primary season.
Right. That's a big reason why the convention went down like it did. It's also because Lyndon Johnson didn't name Herbert Humphrey as his successor.
Herbert Humphrey, yeah.
Yeah.
If Biden would have dropped a month or two earlier, we probably would have pushed more for an open primary.
Or at the very least, there would have been somebody willing to take the shot. It probably would have been a losing effort still. It probably certainly still would have been, but at least somebody would have been willing to take the shot. Now, I would also say somebody probably also still would have taken the shot if Joe Biden didn't immediately, within a half hour, put out there, Kamala's my girl, I will accept nobody else.
Yep.
And also, at the same time, Kamala did it immediately. Get on the phones for 10 hours and tell people, hey, I'm the girl, I'm the nominee now. Nobody else is going to even have a shot at this because I'm going to bring the energy here.
Yeah.
And then the money flow came in, and then it became pretty damn clear that she had the energy, she had the momentum, she had the money, she had the power, and everybody else said, I'm not doing this, I'm not touching this.
She also had key backing.
Exactly.
Because, lest we forget that the Clintons,
with the quickness.
They endorsed her very quickly, as opposed to other key players in the Democratic Emeritus camp.
Which I should note, I'm assuming it's because of the case of they wanted stuff to play out.
Well,
because it's more of a case of,
Well, Nancy Pelosi flat out.
I'm talking about the Obamas with that. I'm not sure the Obamas were of a, the pom-pom cheering for open stuff like, say, Nancy.
Right, but
so I want to separate the Obamas from Nancy here. I want to do that here. I want to do that hard here because I don't think the Obamas were really wanting open free-for-all festival. Nancy, on the other hand,
she was the head cheerleader.
It's California power play bullshit that she was doing.
Right, but her big mistake is she didn't back like anyone. Like, they were literally trying to go for. Well, here's the thing: they were so incoherent with their ideas. They were throwing out like, this should be hosted by fucking Taylor Swift. That was an actual thing that was mentioned at one point.
That was an actual. Yes, it was.
They had no idea what they were. Literally no idea what they were doing. I hope they were not surprised with the end result.
No. They had an idea. They had stupid ideas and dumb ideas and don't know what the hell they're talking about. But they had ideas.
I'm like,
They made an
Meanwhile-
effort here.
Yes.
It was a terrible effort. It was a shit effort. It was a failed effort. Thank the Lord. But it was an effort. An effort was really made here. They had fucking PowerPoints. They had
I'm like-
PowerPoints. They typed this up. They put it together.
Okay,
Like,
so
This was a real
basically-
thing.
they earned the gold star with the Comic Sans on it.
Right, exactly. Correct.
So thankfully, everything has worked out so far.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
To the point where, Kamala Harris is in the advantage position. I won't
Yeah.
say that she's a shoo-in to win or everything,
No.
but
But at the very least, you would rather have them out there in the fight than anybody else because they know what the situation is. They know what the deal is. They know how this is going to work. They know what they have to do.
Yeah. More to the point, they have a cash advantage over the Republicans.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Especially after this month. Woo!
Yes.
We got the July numbers. That was only just like what, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We got a full
I'm
month
like-
here and the convention, which is going to deliver an even bigger cushion. A cushion that Trump's people could not get with their RNC because it was shit.
Also, there's a legitimate enthusiasm gap between the Dems and the Republicans.
Well, there was an enthusiasm gap, but that has now completely been erased. And now maybe
Well,
it's on the flip side, but there was a definite enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans. That's history.
Yeah. So what this translates to now is
Mhm.
an active ground game because the Dems are looking to invest in getting people, canvassing,
Right.
commercials, campaigns, all the stuff that Donald Trump is not doing.
Right.
Like
Going to it's something that we didn't really have much in 2016, admittedly, and we certainly, of course, didn't have it in 2020 because duh. We have it now,
Well-
and we're going to have it.
Well, more to the point, like Trump is, even putting aside the cognitive decline debate, he's
Yeah.
a lot less energetic this cycle. Like he is just not doing the amount
He's
of
showing his
campaign
fucking
effort-
age.
Yeah,
He's certainly shown his age a lot worse than Biden ever has. Minus that one bad night when he was
plus
sick as a dog.
he is apparently running out of venues that will,
yeah.
allow him
Because
to
he can't
hire
fucking
them.
pay for it.
I'm like,
Because he can't pay for him.
yeah. Oh no, the consequences of his actions, do
Yeah.
occasionally catch up to him. Like,
Right, that's the reason why he does these outdoor shows. is because he
that's
can't
not supposed to
afford
happen to
indoor
rich people,
arenas.
is the thing.
No,
it's
especially a
not-
rich person who is the nominee of a major political party in the United States.
Oh, and can I just say we are so very done with they go low, we go high. Like,
Michelle, look, here's the thing about that. That was something that she wanted to do in 2016. It seemed like a good idea. Then November happened, and you saw the photo that I posted, which became viral. Hell yes. From Inauguration Day 2017. And looked to the camera. She was like,
Yeah.
"You did this, huh?" COVID prevented her from fully responding in 2020. Last night was 8 fucking years in the making.
yes.
Okay. It's like, okay. Yeah. You've been throwing that around as if I was promoting, weakness and, bend the knee or whatever. It's like,
Well, it's also
It's like, yeah.
we are out of fucks to give because it's not just the pent up resentment. It's
Mhm.
ignoring all the fucking pressers who have been doing
Trying
their
to fuel
fucking
that,
game.
trying to push that up. Yeah. Trying to keep that going.
It's more they're doing the finger wagging over the weird campaign, and
Yeah, it's like, it worked! It's the reason why Tim Wolf got the damn job! I'll tell you this right now. At the start of all this, he wasn't even talked about. Let's be clear here. He wasn't talked about at all. Then Tim Wolf got on television. Then Tim Wolf got on television and said, "Aren't these folks weird? These folks crazy?" And everybody was like, "Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Who's this guy?"
Well, it's a
And
statement.
then everybody started looking back at his record. And it worked. It worked
Well, it's a statement that works so much better than Deplorables did, because
yeah. Admittedly, that was right though, but
also
weird
because
better.
a lot of the strength of that kind of fascist adjacent, if not outright fascist positions, run on the strength of the strength that they run on is the belief that everyone else thinks this, and they're being brave for actually saying it.
And they also
which is
work.
not true, but the fact that if they can maintain that, it makes them feel stronger.
It's also, as it turns out, they can very much work with the anger of their enemies. If nothing, that fucking fuels them. What they cannot deal with is being seen as not the norm. It goes right into, it goes into they're thinking of attacking DEI, anything that isn't a white male Christian,
right?
Or a white girl that's all about the family,
right?
You see it, that's their definition of normal, and they cannot handle the fact that it's not normal. And any time they try to prove that they are normal, they get fucking weirder.
Yeah. Which is why it cut through the crap.
Yeah.
And it made everybody go, "Hold on a minute, who's this guy? Where did he come from?" Wow. Wow, I've never seen that before.
I do think it's important to still going high doesn't just mean avoiding personal attacks, but keeping them on topic and stuff is.
Well, that's what she was going for.
Yeah,
that's what she was going for. Let's be very clear. It's but what's happened. Okay. What's happened is, of course, what happened a couple of months later, and then it's oh, okay, all right.
I'll rephrase that to state what my concern is if people get too carried away with it. I think where we are now is fine, but it is important that at least one side playing the game has to believe in the rules.
That's not what we're talking about, though. It's. Here's the thing, everything here is buoyed by a genuine sense of elation. People are excited. About the prospect of President Kamala Harris.
Listen. As someone who is Minnesotan by blood, first of all, and as also someone who was a ride or die with Kamala Harris back in 2019 for her first bid, I can tell you for a fact that this is a freaking dream. This is something that I can't believe is even happening. Never mind the fact that, I'm getting what I wanted in 2020, but was denied because too many freaking white mediocre candidates were running, which drained her finances out, which is why she quit, in order to ensure that her campaign team got paid for the holidays. Never mind that. now as her running mate, she chose the governor of my home state, my ancestral home state, who is more Minnesotan than even Fritz Mondale and Hubert Humphrey ever were. Like,
Not Herbert Hoover.
like, not Herbert Hoover, Hubert Humphrey, right? But is more Minnesotan than they ever were, although Humphrey was very much Minnesotan, more Minnesotan than Mondale. But the point of the matter is this is a dream. Like, this entire freaking ticket is a dream. Like, it's something that I couldn't even have imagined. And I was like someone who was out there saying that 2028 it should be Kamala Klobuchar, but I know it wouldn't go there. But it's like and they're bringing exactly what I knew that both of them would bring, and it's infecting everybody else. I mean, heck, Bill Clinton spoke tonight. Apparently, he had one draft of his speech tonight. He threw it out the moment he saw the audience and what was happening. He had to rewrite his script. Like,
Clinton's always
it's just incredible.
Clinton's always been a skillful orator.
Right, but he literally had to tear up his draft and write a new one because of what he was seeing.
Right.
That's how you know. Like,
also,
that's how you know.
Also, getting to Gollix's point, I do acknowledge it is. Yeah, it's like you don't want to get too negative, otherwise, well, you end up where the pro-Palestinian posters are right now.
Yep. Yep. Present, we should say now. Not the uncommitted, the present.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, in the roll call, that's what they were called. Present.
But, like, their cause, while noble, is also less important.
I mean, they've gotten less noble over time.
Well,
let's be frank.
It's like, they have lost the plot. I'm like,
yep. Like,
granted, they were never always with it.
No,
because it's one thing to protest. Let me finish. It's
go ahead.
The Democratic leadership that is in power, to push them to, go with a ceasefire, and it's another thing to want them to lose and install Donald fucking Trump, who has actively spoken that he wants to deport you motherfuckers. Even though you guys aren't actually mostly from Gaza or Israel or any part of that region.
Like, he has literally stated that he doesn't give a damn about the Palestinians. I mean, his actions as president should have been proof of that. Because not only was he the guy who moved the U.S. Embassy to East Jerusalem, which was a damning blow to the Palestinian peace process, and also pushed for Arab countries to sell the Palestinians out. Okay? Not only that, but he's literally been out there saying that he wants to put all of you in jail, maybe worse, and ensure that your families never come to this country again. And never mind deporting the protesters. He wants to ensure that you will never have your families come to this country again. Okay? So,
it's like
them not really caring about who wins the election is a de facto. I don't give a damn if Trump comes to the power, which is mind-blowing if you even think about it. These people do not give a damn about the Palestinians. They don't. Because let's remind you, there was only two people that have been caring about both the Palestinians and the Israelis since the jump. And that is not Netanyahu, it's not Hamas, it's not Trump, it's Biden and Harris. And that's always been the case. Like,
Mhm.
Democracy is a slow process. The ship of state turns slowly, and this is a feature, not a bug. And
It's
I feel
especially a
like
feature-
I'm concerned about the number of people, or at least how loud the people are, that don't seem to be able to accept that and want
Look,
someone to break all the rules and make all the unilateral decisions, but on their side.
right.
Not
Well, it's
understanding that that still destabilizes the entire world system, and
Well, that's the thing about the very online leftists. They
Right.
don't understand how things work because it's not just Palestine. For 4, maybe 8 years, I have seen them get on a fucking tangent about, healthcare, the fight for 15, whatever cause that's in their sight. And what do? They take a maximalist fucking position, and then they start screaming at everyone who they don't agree with, even though, like with single player healthcare, motherfucker, that idea is just not that popular. It pulls at 30% at best.
Yep.
So,
and the maximalist position that they have right now, to be precise, the maximalist position they have right now is to stop any and all aid to Israel, any and all. And here's the problem with that: that will never pass the United States Congress, either now or in the new configuration in 2025. That won't even pull at 30%. That'll be pulling in the single digits. Because
don't get me wrong, what's happening in Palestine and many of the other problems that they bring up are utterly unconscionable, and work needs to be done to change them. But if you, at least in the specific case of this with Israel, the United States is deeply entwined with Israel's existence and everything, and you can't just stop being a supporting ally of a country, even if they have proven themselves to be doing pretty bad things pretty consistently for a good long while now. And it would be good to start ratcheting back support for it. But if you change who your friends are overnight, then no one will trust your country, and that's bad.
See, here's the situation here.
Saudi Arabia. You want to talk about bad actors who act against us half the fucking time.
See,
but we still support them.
But I just want to point this out here, because to go back to the maximalist position that they have here with this, it's not just unpopular, it's not just it will pass Congress. In practice, what it will do is to leave Israel in a vulnerable position against not one, but 2 terrorist organizations that are at the door, at their borders at the moment. Not to mention the fact, Iran over there, the said terrorist groups hosts and main funders and main creators, really. You are leaving Israel exposed to them. Meaning that you are putting innocent Israelis who are not in the Knesset, who are not in the government, you are putting them at risk for another October 7th. Okay? When you put that maximalist position out there, that's what you are actually doing. And that's why, and everybody who actually cares about this understands that. Which is why this position is going to be going absolutely fucking nowhere, and also probably why the uncommitted people did not get a single speaking slot at the DNC. Even though no doubt they tried to get one, but they were not able to get one because most likely they were going to go up there and speak about stripping funding from Israel and whatever, and that would not go over well at all. So that's why they are no longer uncommitted, but present. And they're going to have to deal with that, and they're also going to have to understand they're now irrelevant. They're just going to be irrelevant now, and it's largely because of the fact that this movement, like so many leftist movements, dating all the way back to the hippies of the 60s, like, these movements always get co-opted by people who have absolutely, positively no direct ties to the issue that they're talking about, who then say outlandish, bigoted things that drive people off, and at the same time, they come out and they say they don't give a damn about persuading anybody, about convincing people of what they want to do. They don't give a shit about that. They want their position done at any fucking cost. And that is not how it works. And that is why these leftists, even before the age of the internet, have not figured out and understood why they lose all the time.
Anyway,
And they're going to just buzz past this also. Anyhow, moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose we should talk a bit about entertainment this week. So, in the tradition of My Hero Academia ending, last week?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, but yes.
Was it last week?
It was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Another very popular Shonen Jump manga is ending here soon. Jujutsu Kaisen has about 4 chapters left.
Yep, 4 chapters as of the one that just got started spoiling tonight. But yes. What's up?
Adam, you still there?
Adam, you there? Are you doing live? Are you doing live research? Because we can't hear you. Oh dear.
Adam,
no.
did you tab off the window again?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
See,
Oh,
I'd
dear,
follow up
folks.
on this, but I know fuck all about Jujutsu Kaisen because I don't follow long-running shonen.
Yeah. I have been.
I've heard
Adam,
it's
you there
good
now?
and actually not all that long-running.
Oh, we've lost Adam. I think he's figured out that he went down. Oh no, folks, we're swimming along without our host. Oh god. Adam, you there?
There we go. Not sure what happened. Not sure what happened. The Discord just sort of crashed.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's back now.
Anyway. That'll happen. Anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen is ending.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is ending. Given from what the reaction, it seems to be ending very poorly. Like,
well, spoilers tonight may change that, and I do not want to go any further than that, but up to this point, it was feeling like it was getting rushed. Now, considering the reason that JJK is trending alongside of DNC stuff tonight,
All I've seen is
know.
that without naming names, someone that was supposedly dead has shown back up.
I think I can guess who that is.
Yes.
Well, like I said, I know fuck all about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Right. I've been basically just riding through it just to basically rubberneck because I haven't been fully following it. True, but yeah. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's who I thought it was.
Yeah, but we'll see how that series landed, and hopefully it lands in a good place for everybody to go home happy with. Now,
look, this character
MHA was fine.
Look, this character showing back up is not necessarily going to resolve the overall problem that Jujutsu Kaisen has been having recently.
Yeah, but we'll see what it does. We'll see what it does because this specific character coming back and coming back after this specific character was previously confirmed to be dead.
I mean, it's not shocking that they lied about that.
Yeah, but it wasn't lied until lately. But it's a case of this character coming back after being dead is going to make a lot of people happy, which could in fact change the overall final report. But there was a lot of problems up until this point. But we will see.
Yeah, I'm like, people are certainly popping, but I'm like, it's not changing the fact that this character was out for a very long time.
Very, very long time.
Like, I guess, yeah. We shall see what happens. Anyway, I think that's enough for this week.
Yeah.
I know we're wrapping up, a lot sooner than we usually do, but we don't have Mac here to occupy a good half hour of news.
Right. And frankly, there's another thing with Paramount this week that we probably might want to wait for Mac to talk about because, obviously.
Indeed.
You want to do, or do you want to do that here, or do you want to? Do we want to talk about that here, or do we want to wait for Mac's next appearance? Because that literally broke. It's literally broke within the last 48 hours. So, with an update today.
Anyway, so next week on August 28th, episode 14, we'll be having Ricardo Savino of the Flying Kick Network. He is a beat-em up enthusiast from Brazil who makes videos for YouTube. And by beat-em ups, we're talking about brawlers. Think Final Fight, Double Dragon, that kind of game. So, gonna be interesting. So anyway, hopefully next week Mac will be able to join us. And until then, stay safe.